If you do go on to enjoy today's video, do me a favour and hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel for more daily content. And if you need any coins for Ultimate Team to get a head start on the game, head to the link in the description, use the code TVM for a discount at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to a brand new player review. A player that I had unlocked for a couple of days now and I've been using him in the weekend league. I went to review him and I thought, I can't really review him because I need to do icon swaps. And the only team I could use him in icon swaps was the Premier League, and it was the one that I'd done. So I thought, well, I'll stick him on my bench for weekend league, and I'll just bring him on for a few games and I'll see what I think. I decided not to play anywhere near as much weekend league this week as I originally planned, and I normally do. And the reason for that is because, well, I just have icon swap stuff to do and loads of other things, and I basically went into weekend league to play with Yannick Bolasie. This guy has not had a good card for quite some time. So the fact that EA have given him, I wouldn't say a good card. I mean, well, I would actually. It is a good card, but it's a usable card more than anything else. That's what we really want in this game. Cards you can actually take into games, play with, and not feel like he's the reason you haven't won the game. So, reasonably well-rounded. 83 acceleration, 89 sprint speed. We've got 99 shot power, which is fantastic. 83 long shots, 81 finishing, 89 positioning. Very underrated and understated stat. 84 short passing with 80 vision. His dribbling across the board is okay. It's not great. It's not what I would even say good, but it's okay. 78 reactions, not ideal. Every other stat there in the 80s. Physical, all in the 80s, apart from aggression, which is 79, very close. And of course, 85 heading, which is pretty good as well. Useful from corners, considering he is 6'1". I don't know why I didn't know that, but I didn't. I just assumed he was in and around the same height as the majority of the other sort of wingers, which is around between 5'9" and say 5'11", maybe 6 foot at a push. But in game, he is a big figure, really. He's got a high and average body type. I would say he's borderline stocky in game. If you know what a stocky body type is. Someone like Mukiele, for example. He's kind of, he's not the same. He does feel a little bit like sort of slimmer than Mukiele's rule breaker card, but still, definitely comparable. Skills, 5-star, of course. That's one of the reasons why we're here right now. And of course, a 3-star weak foot. Not ideal, but it is what it is. And a high-low work rates. Again, these are very underrated work rates. I've put him in that team because that is essentially what he would have been playing in the Premier League side. I played one friendly with him, and then I thought halfway through it, why am I doing this? So he did play in this team because I went into the one league, but then I was thinking, why am I doing this? Because I'm not getting anything for it. I've already done this side of icon swaps. So that's when I decided to just take him into FUT Champs. I think most of the gameplay you'll see actually is from FUT Champs. I brought him on in the second half of most games when the game was basically done, so that I could enjoy the card rather than having to sweat out the results. So if I'm 2-0 up or 3-0 up or even 4-0 up in some cases, I was bringing him on. And that's the kind of thing I suppose you could ease your way through weekend league with. I don't know if you ever have fixtures where you know you've won the game. Like, you know, you can feel your opponent isn't necessarily that good, or maybe you've gone 2-3 goals up and he doesn't really have an answer. Then you can maybe bring on someone like Yannick Bolasie, like I was doing. I didn't do it up purposefully to think, right, now let's have some fun and disrespect my opponent. But that's the way it turned out, because when I eased up a little bit, and this is, I guess, a tip more than anything else for how to play Weekend League without throwing the controller. And yeah, okay, it's not going to work against people who are just better at the game than you, but when I was, you know, 1 or 2-0 up at half-time, I'd bring him on for Depay, I'd use him as a cam, and I would just start doing things like that, just skilling randomly, trying to take some people on, and just have fun. Now, I am fully aware that my opponent here is 4-0 down, and I maybe shouldn't have been doing this, because I am an advocate of being non-toxic in FIFA, because there's just no point, there's no need for it, right? Now, is going 4-0 up and then start doing skills all over the place toxic? Maybe. We're 1-0 up here, I brought him on anyway, and he was just, every game he came on in, we didn't, not that this is it's not connected, but every game that he came on in, he wasn't we didn't concede, and he wasn't the reason why I started playing badly or anything. In fact, every time I brought him on, the game sort of switched a little bit, and we were able to have a little bit more of the ball. Every time I gave the ball to him, I felt like something could happen. He always gets these really weird, awkward bounces. Like if he goes in for a skill move or something, and your opponent goes in for a challenge, he comes out with the ball 9 times out of 10. I don't know whether that's the strength, the height, the balance, the agility, whatever it may be, but he will come out with a ball in 50-50 challenges a lot more than 50-50. That's for damn sure. There weren't many things I didn't like about the card. I mean, it's one of those, if it was higher rated, then we'd be laughing. For right now, it's fine. You can use it, especially if you like using skills. It's one of those cards that you should just have on your bench if you like using skills, because you could always bring him on. Even if you're losing like 4 or 5-0, at that point you kind of got to think to yourself, oh, screw it, I'm just going to bring on some skillers and have a laugh. You know, that's the way you need to sort of, I don't know, play this game, I guess. He scores a penalty there right at the end to make it 7-0 in that game. I do feel bad for my opponent, but like I said, it made me feel a lot better just bringing him on and just doing some random skills and trying to take people on. Like I said, there aren't too many negatives to speak of. The reactions are a little bit on the low side. Volleys normally I don't care about, but when you've got a skiller, volleys is a rather important stat, right? So you're doing all these flicks and tricks, and believe it or not, Bolasie flicks and things, and then if he's unable to hit it on the volley, it does leave you with a little bit of a, oh, what if he had 80-something volleys? I could actually hit this with a degree of hope that it would go in. You can do that broken volley chip thing, you could do that with anyone who has semi-decent finishing, but hasn't really worked too well for me, I've got to be honest, and I've not had anyone do it against me. I've seen a few people mention it, and a few people do videos on it now, but I've not had it done against me yet, so hopefully EA patch it before I have to experience it. But yeah, the only other negative, of course, is the composure. Sometimes, now and again, there's a few instances where he'll panic under the pressure and he won't sort of get it from under his feet, or the shot type will be a little bit of a wrong one. But more often than not, honestly, he's just fun to use. His finishing is good enough. His shot power is really nice. His ball control is good. And what I mean by that, of course, is when he goes in for challenges and he comes out with the ball at the end of it, even though realistically he shouldn't be. Like, he goes in for a skill move. We get tackled, but we still have the ball. He gets away with that an awful lot more than I've noticed any other player, even more than Mbappe, Ronaldo, and all those. Great strength for an attacker. Not too often you get that. Skill moves are fantastic, and I love those work rates. Definitely worth the unlock, if you ask me. It's there for, I don't know how long it's there for, but I would unlock it before you do icon swaps, really, if you're under a time constraint, because icon swaps are there for another 3 weeks, you know. If you have enjoyed this play review, do me a favour and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for you, of course, and until the next time, goodbye.
Join the Betting Rebellion and find out what your football knowledge is really worth.